Hello, welcome to Three of Wands. I hope the sound works. I hope these headphones sound okay. If not, then this isn't going anywhere. Let's begin. Okay. I think it's funny that it just said hell on it. Alright, maybe that's a clue. Maybe something feels hellish right now. And that definitely coincides with the first card, which is the Nine of Cups in reverse. There's something that doesn't feel satisfactory. There's something that feels maybe ill-intentioned. I just heard ill will. And then we have another 9 in reverse, the Nine of Wands. This kind of looks like the same character, doesn't it? They look a bit alike. They could be brothers, if not the same person. Maybe there's two people. Maybe this person has kind of a dual nature. Take it as you will. They're being urged to take care of themselves. This might be someone you're in a relationship with or just someone you care very much about. I'm not sensing that it's you. So, and the bracelet just turned off when I said that, so that feels like a confirmation. It is not you. So there's someone in your life that may have a twin brother, maybe two twin sisters. Gender doesn't really apply when speaking on those cards specifically, not in my mind at least. 5 of Wands. It's like they're missing their combat buddy. They are missing someone that they used to be able to go to training practice with, go to war with, go to battle with. This is definitely what's coming through. They miss their... I just heard Viking. They miss their buddy. This Hierophant in reverse has been plaguing me all morning. I'm not sure exactly what it means to the greater collective's context. We're going to find out what it means for you and everyone else who's watching this, you know. You know? It seems like there's someone around who's got kind of a stiff energy. They're kind of like a buzzkill, or like the fun brigade. Like they're leading the fun brigade into hell is kind of what I'm getting. And I get the sense that this person that you're picking up the energy of, they're just kind of like, I am not going along for the ride. That doesn't suit me at all. That makes me bummed. I feel sad thinking about the buffoonery. I'm hearing the funniest words. Just please bear with me if it doesn't feel like it's aligning quite yet, but if it is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're gonna find a way to help this person out, because I think you see a lot of yourself in the situation and you're like, if I can help them, then I can be helped, type of thing. Or something, you know, that's not obviously what helping is about, but maybe in this context it feels a little like, show me the way through your learning. Show me the way through your learning. It might be, okay, good. We have, you know, Essence of Healing showing up at the bottom of the deck here with the Ten of Swords in reverse. And the Lovers came out sideways over the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is weird. It feels unnatural, like the wheel, of course, sits in the middle. But when we look at it in reverse, to me, it feels like it's rising. So it feels like a sunrise on something that was feeling... I just saw a seesaw, so maybe this also has to do with justice or like balance. Things feel upside down and you're rolling with it with this person. The energy is starting to come in a bit more clearly, so let's see if we can get some specifics. But there's some institution that like frowns on this. I'm also seeing a clock with the Lovers over the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it just kind of it feels like time's up, time's out, but also time keeps going, the world keeps spinning, everything keeps rolling. You really relate to this person. You really feel for them, and you're both coming out of something difficult together, but there's just 3 of this same figure here, so maybe this person even has a triple nature. You never know. And if you don't understand what that means, it's kind of like maybe, you know how Geminis act hyperactive 1 minute and very tired the next. I think it's because of their energy and the way that it moves, but other people could say, you know, that person has two sides to them. So it could be in terms of energy levels, in terms of engagement with your relationship or your situation. They're kind of in and out. There's a lot, you know, I think I'm here to help you put this person down gently. And I don't mean put them down. I mean, like, set them on a feather bed because they need it. They really need your help. And I think your concern by itself is showing them how much they're cared for. You're kind of like, I'm down to ride this upside down loop-de-loop with you. I'm down to be upside down with you. And it's turning something else upside down. It's kind of like time's up for this Hierophant in reverse. That's kind of how it feels like. You, in this situation with this person, whether it's someone you've known your whole life or only more recently, and you just felt an immediate bond, it's just kind of like longevity has proven its salt, its point, and its worth. And so competition between you two feels healthy is what I just heard. Strength in reverse has also been showing up a lot as well, but there's something covering this energy of fatigue that is quiet. There's a quiet strength that's covering for this person who can't quite get up right now. Does any of this make sense? Kind of like, tell me telepathically if you need me to go in a more specific direction, or comment down below. But it just feels like the fatigue, the upside downness of it all, there was a lot of uncertainty, and there was a lot of times where both of you were like, I don't know what I'm doing. Or that, you know, there may be three of you. These may actually be three different people, but they look so much alike. I just can't help but think of either one person in three stages of life growing up, or three different facets of self, three different aspects of personality. But you and this person, or you and this entity, if you are just kind of like chilling with your guides or whatever is going on, take it as it remains and resonates. I think I want to add remains because it's like whatever, there's resonance, right, where you feel something within you that's like, oh, that makes sense. It kind of is like the energy of revelation. And then there's remembering it because it stood out. Like something might stand out because you disagree with it. You might be like, that's not it. And then in 2 weeks, this exact scenario happens to your coworker or their partner or whatever, you know what I mean? So whatever resonates and remains, just kind of pay attention to. I think I'm getting more close to the mark here with what's coming out with the 10 of Wands and the second position in the major arcana, but technically the third card. I guess that felt important to say. We've got the King of Pentacles kind of like protecting both strength in reverse and standing what feels like in front of the High Priestess so she can kind of do her thing in the background. But she's doing, and okay, confirmation with this lighting back up. So she's doing heavy lifting in the background. She's doing a lot of weightlifting, whoever this energy is, if it's feminine energy, if it's, you know, if it's not, this is non-binary energy. This is gay energy. I know that's not about gender, but for me, it has a close tie-in personally. But yeah, there's a lot of like looking out that this High Priestess is doing. Let me just tap in from a more like vague perspective, just in case it helps you put the pieces together. There's a High Priestess here who is doing work in the background and is protected by either their own mask or a physical person or an entity, like I said before, like a spirit guide, because there's a fatigue that's happening here from the amount of work that's being put in order to, I just heard clean up spiritually. And so there's a lot of input and a lot of output, but only in the background where no one can see. And this is where the longevity aspect comes in. If this is someone that you haven't known for a long time, it's just kind of like as much work as they pull in the ether and the astral is helping gains happen in the material. But the thing is, like, this exhaustion and this fatigue is really here. We can't ignore it. Defenses are down. maybe this is your energy. Yeah, I think this is your energy here. And we're going to get to the bottom of why you're feeling this way, because, I mean, we already are at the tip of the iceberg with you're doing a service in the background by investigating paranormal activity, is what I heard. So whatever, you know, like paranormal investigation. But it makes your physical body feel like it's a little defenseless, because it feels like it feels autoimmune, possibly like attacking from the you know how autoimmune issues contribute to the baddie attacking herself. So the body attacking itself. That's, hi, whoever you are, you're funny. Feel free to stay. 7 of Pentacles sideways. So you're kind of saying, and I think we're tapped in. You're kind of saying, like, is this worth it? Can I work it? I need to stop. You need to stop improvising into my head, please, so I don't sound silly. If you want me to sound silly so that we can relate, I'm down, but anyway, I'm sorry. There's just one playful energy that I'm in touch with. This, it feels different from what I'm used to, because I've been having kind of a hard time with people personally. So it feels kind of difficult for me to giggle and joke. Like, my partner laughed at my joke the other night, and I was genuinely confused, because he was like, no, what you said was funny. I thought it was funny. And it's like, people withhold their laughter from me as a person for some reason. I don't know why. You know, I don't know why. I think people consider me as really serious. So when I start getting giggly and funny, they're like, what's wrong with you? So I hope it doesn't scare anybody. But your energy is bubbly, and I want to play with it. If that's okay with you, if you don't want to and you want the separation, you know, reader to readee to viewer, that is totally fine with me too. No pressure. Part of you is now saying, I don't know if this feels like it's worth it because I'm so tired. And I just had a little sip of coffee and it picked me up a little bit. But it's not because you should be tired, or you worked too hard, or you threw in the towel, or you gave up too quickly. I'm hearing odd things. I think this may be what these people in your life, these energies, were trying to say to you. It could be a manager. These both feel like managerial energy to me at this moment. Like middleman type of shit. So there may have been an informant. I definitely heard that while seeing the word information on something on my desk. So you felt like you can't be silly and you can't be yourself, and you're losing steam and you're losing energy because of these two people in the background just making your life a living hell. Am I getting it right? And I mean, I don't mind talking shit because I love to gossip, but at the same time, I'd rather get to the bottom of it in this paranormal investigation you've included me in, you psychic ass. I don't know, like you seem very psychic and in tap with your feminine energy, which is why it feels odd that it's low right now. But it's because these two people are siphoning off of you. I mean, I hate to say what we hear so much of every day watching tarot videos, but they're trying to siphon off of you at night. They knew you had plans for nighttime. Maybe you worked in nightlife, you wanted to go party or something, or like you wanted to go into bartending, or you wanted to go into serving, you know, drinks or meals late at night. These people tried to work on you so that you couldn't do that, even though that's the best time for you to work. I get the feeling that you get really hot really easily. This was just waiting. I was just gonna get through my thought, but I had to pull it. That's a really good sign. I think you're coming forward about your needs. And look, like, what I get is that this person is, like, steaming with these clouds around here. It just feels like she's too hot to handle. I think that's how you feel sometimes, and so you're like, I'd rather work at night. It's cooler. I mean, it's the middle of summer. I feel for you. I feel this. So let's bring it back to this first person with the triple aspect. You're showing them that you're too hot to handle. And I don't only mean in a romantic or sexual context. I mean in an all-encompassing way. You're just a little hot potato, and this is your true self. There's nothing wrong with being yourself, but it's kind of making your body feel sick. So it's like you're burning so many coals in the background just to keep the factory going, whatever that means for you. Factory as in like the factory of your system, or of the chore list, or of the checklist at work, or the recipes, you know. Whatever you're kind of grinding on and continuing to do day in and day out, it's making you warm. It's making you hot. And I think it's making you attractive as well. So you're like, if I feel warm, hot, and attractive and magical, and like I'm transmuting all this stuff, why am I so tired? And it's because other people wanted you to be, so that you couldn't have enough energy to be in your prime, to work in your prime state. I just heard real estate for some reason, or like in the right location. Like people were trying to prevent you from going where you needed to be. I'm sorry to hear that. It seems like you're healing from it, and I think healing is an exhausting process no matter how you cut it. And there's another healing card, the Four of Swords. We're going through from the Three of Swords to the Four of Swords in terms of your healing journey. At first, it's just pulling the quills out of you and the arrows and whatever is stuck in your body, and then it's about laying back and letting it happen. But with the Four of Swords in reverse, I see kind of a risk of you falling back on those same swords that you pulled out. So I don't mean to point at you, sorry. One at you, three at me is what pointing is, unless you get all confused about the thumb situation. So that applies to me a lot. I'm highly at risk of falling on swords that I've pulled out too. So let's get together and figure this out, because we both have a lot at stake here. Look at this. They were trying to make you like rush into something at night. Maybe you weren't ready to begin applying for those positions that you were like daydreaming about. Maybe it just wasn't quite time yet, but you felt this urgency to start working at night when it didn't, nothing felt ready, because you and this other person are so tired. They kind of miss daytime activities with you, if that makes sense. Because the company that they're keeping right now only knows how to party and work for themselves. They don't know how to, oh, I'm losing it, but I'll get it. They only, I need to cough, hang on. Let me pause it. Okay. They only know how to party and work for themselves. They don't know how to take care of you, especially now that you're in this healing moment. The Ten of Swords in reverse came out. So see how the Three of Cups is upright, but the Three of Pentacles is backwards? I got this download the other week that rang really loud and clear, which was good coworkers don't make good friends, and vice versa. So if you're really good friends with somebody, they're not going to be the easiest to work with, and the opposite. So you're tired because you're surrounded by friends, not coworkers at work. And it feels like at home you're surrounded by good co-working energy, but it doesn't feel like it's friendly. It feels like it's serious, you know, like you're taking your responsibilities very seriously as an adult, and I appreciate that. But I think that that's what the Four of Swords could have been warning about in reverse. It's just saying, don't put a stick up your ass just to prove that you know how to do it. With the Eight of Pentacles there, it's like you kind of align with this crew here in the way that you're their opposite. So like you only really know how to get to work. Like you know how to put pen to paper, you know how to get the novel going, you know how to get the math equations rolling. I don't know what you do, unless you want to tell me and I can bring it up. But the Chariot in reverse came out, so it feels hard to place energetically how you feel, because it feels like you're surrounded by chuckleheads. I don't know how else to put it. Especially the ones trying to siphon your energy. It doesn't feel safe to like venture right now in the ways that you usually can, or even like have to survive and cope, is what I'm getting. But with the world right there, I just feel like being too hot to handle might mean that you cause trouble when you go into public. Does that make sense? Like people don't know how to handle you. So it feels like, yes, it makes the burnout feel a little stronger. So I'm giving you full permission to keep doing what you need to do in order to maintain your energy, because you're doing a lot of alchemy in the astral right now. Seriously. You're doing a lot of transmuting. And what I mean by that is like, it feels like water changing states from liquid to gaseous, which is to bring something to a boiling point. It feels like something's at a boiling point and you're finally blowing off steam, and steam can hurt. Steam burns. So I think you're like a teapot that's steaming by yourself so that you don't hurt anybody, is how I can best put that. It's all good, you know. You do what you got to do. Okay, we have some repeat cards coming out with the Chariot in reverse with the Three of Pentacles in reverse again. And they ended up right next to each other last time too. This is a point that's being really re-emphasized at this moment. You're here to get along, but not work alongside, because these people aren't really taking the job seriously, okay? And we have the King of Wands in reverse. This can be someone who's really tyrannical, but not necessarily unempathetic. They're very creative, but they're impatient. Whoever is leading this expenditure, I think, might be this figure here. And we have the Page of Swords in reverse and the Page of Wands upright. That's kind of speaking to, there's someone who's willing to stand up to this person, but they're a bit smaller than them, so it feels like they might just get smacked out of the way. And there's someone else who wants to help, but they just don't have the right angle to talk to this person. This feels like your co-working situation. This feels like your co-workers with like a big bad boss. I don't like where that's going. I don't like that. What can we do about the big bad boss? It's just like the final boss. Look at this. Doesn't matter. You're already doing it. You've already done it. You've already beat the final boss. You beat the final boss. You did it. Look at my bendy card. You did it. Your heart was about to snap in half, but you still did it. You know how I know? That's how. So, you're tired because you fought a battle and you won. That's all. And now you're resting at home because you've earned it. And you know you have. And you know you did. I know because you're telling me. Because you know. That's how I know. I know you know. I'm gonna stop now. This came out sideways, but I'm gonna take it upright for some reason. I don't know. There was someone else who tried to go up against this big bad boss, but failed. And so they moved on. They really tried to take this person on, and they failed. And they were a little more like liable or something. Like they were a little more able to take them on. But I think whoever, does this make sense? I'm sorry if I'm blabbering about what doesn't make sense. But whoever did take on this kind of dictator in the situation at work, it really feels like, or even in the government, like wherever it feels like it applies, where this group setting is happening, the Page of Wands took out the King of Wands. And maybe the Knight of Wands in reverse, like in the same fell swoop, and just said, I think it's better if you move on. I think I can handle this alone. I think they wanted to help, but they didn't have the strength or the courage, the moxie. So they had to leave. They didn't have the moxie. They didn't have the spunk. Maybe just felt too young. Whatever it is, whatever you're feeling nervous about, like continuing to go in and do the alchemical research and do the investigative stuff, like divination, basically. I'm sorry, I was about to lose my words there. It's working, and you don't need to worry about it. This was sideways. But you're wondering if a smaller amount is going to pay off than the bigger amount that's right behind it. And it's like, no, I'm sorry if that didn't make sense. Let me get to the point. No, I was waiting for the better amount. I was waiting for the better spot. I was waiting for the better moment. That's why it was unsure, because you were waiting to act for a bigger opportunity, which is going to bring you a lot of joy and freedom. And accuracy and acuity, I just heard. I mean, that feels redundant. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Justice in reverse. A little bad news. I think this has to do with this King of Wands in reverse, who everyone started coming up against after they showed you what they were capable of, and of course I made an example out of you. You were willing, because again, you were waiting for the better opportunity to reveal your true hot self and get back into the game as who you are and not who these people siphoned you to be. It was a group effort. Queen of Swords went up against this person and won as well. You and one other person went up against this person as well. I wasn't picking up that it was you before. Were you this little Page of Wands? Is this you? I think it is. I think that's why strength is in reverse now, because you took on a big monster. Like, you took on something like 8 times your size. And it's not to say that you were like you were behind this person in development in terms of like where their stature ended them up. They may have had 15 years on you. They may have been older than you. Obviously, this was a boss energy that everyone was going in and kind of whacking their stick against. But you are much younger than this person, and they are much bigger than you, and you took them on and you won. And this other person backed you up. And that turned that king sideways. It almost made them come around. People wanted this to work out, especially your inner child. Like, I'm sensing that this is a past version of you that had a situation like this happen where you were just like, this was also preventable. It's boring how preventable it was and how much I have to sit back and wait for something better to come in. But, you know, boredom is peace at the end of the day. You're not being disturbed. Try not to dissociate from the situation entirely, or just at all in general if you can help it, because you know that what you did was a power move and better things are on the way. I don't see any, I see healing, balance. You're good. Just learn to be bored. You'll live. Here we go. That feels better. You're down to spin. You're down to oscillate. You're down to change position, as long as you land upright at the end of the day, right? And that's what healing is about. It's about going back into the trenches, feeling the horrible stench of existence and of pain and misery that can find all of us in due time. Why is this so ominous? Because it's coming back for this King of Wands, whoever that was. It could be like evil father energy. They were taunting somebody's inner child. They were messing with somebody. They were messing with whatever was trying to protect strength. They were trying to take down the bodyguard. I hate it. Because of their ego. Their ego was too big. You rejected them. You walked away from the situation. You beat the boss, and they were like, nobody beats me. So they came for the next closest thing. This person who was previously stuck into 3 parts in reverse. They came after that person next, who we were talking about at the beginning of the reading, who I said was not you. You defeated this person. And then beyond that, you got to work on somebody else right after. It worked. I mean, what do you want me to say? Let's see what that Temperance in reverse is. It reminds me of the King of Pentacles in reverse over there. You just stayed quiet. You gray rocked the situation so hard that it made people really angry at you. Like, really resentful. Like, really mad. And that's why the situation felt so uncertain for so long. Because it was like, oh, if everybody's so mad, how can it be right? But the thing is, like, this all had to do with you renouncing inauthenticity as a way to move through the world. You are ready to be the hot, fiery, compassionate, and passionate person that you are, and to let the embers burn. But I think you may have burned someone close to you on accident in the process of shedding. And it might have been your inner kid. It happens. But I think you doing the investigation and repairing your heart and doing it while tired and doing it when all of your cards are broken in the same spot. This is a confirmation for the Two of Wands that your insight is a direct result of your outward-facing self collecting data for the situation, okay? You've done a lot of good work in the background. That's how you beat the boss, and that's why you're not living in anxiety or regret. Maybe just a possibility of dissociation from being like, God, that was a tough battle, like. But you inspired the person that once did not have what they needed in order to defend themselves. What you did brought them clarity. And although that playful kind of competitive aspect came in, it did knock you off your center and make it feel like you can't go out into the world because you have too many enemies, when in actuality, they're very proud of you. And these enemies are probably your biggest friends, weirdly. Well, maybe not. I think they wanted to monitor you in a way that was very disrespectful and ultimately made you want to dissociate. So I don't know what kind of friend that is, but at least they can defend themselves now. You know what? All right, so let's focus back on you and figure out how we can get you feeling back into not necessarily upright fool energy, but out of upside down fool energy, if that makes sense. Like, what energy do you need to walk into? Because it seems like you dealt with a lot of people along the way and they're mad. And it's not gonna touch you. Like, your bodyguard is your inner kid. That's what I just got. Your body, like, your inner kid grew up and grew past you and grew bigger. And that's why it's giving David and Goliath. But that's why you were able to take on something and win. It's something that was so much bigger than you and win is because your inner kid was actually a giant fucking warrior at this point, and that's your astral self. So the energy to focus on now is dreams. That's what word we have in association with the Seven of Cups there, and the Magician, manifestation, doing it as a singular entity with all of the accoutrements that you have around, all of the tools in your toolbox, and going off of your dreams as guidance and as a roadmap. I'm gonna pull one more. Judgment. Judgment, self-evaluation, awakening, renewal, composure, decisiveness, homesickness, snap judgments, apportioning blame, forgiveness. You're waking up, you're coming up out of this, you are leaving the toxicity behind. That all sounds so cliche, but really with judgment here, it's just kind of like, you know, this next wave of judgment is not going to hit you sideways because you've seen it coming a mile away, because you have the gift of foresight, which is what that Queen of Cups was giving earlier. You're like 2 steps ahead of the game because you're intuitive. And you don't feel bad about that because you were given that foresight because of your genuineness. Ingenuity. Here we go. Look who's upright. We did it. We fixed it. The Hierophant is still in reverse. The big bad boss really is taking the whole building down with him. And you're walking away scot-free because, again, judgment's not going to hit you sideways. You've been good this whole time. You've been killing it. You only risk, you know, kind of not making a choice, basically. That's the only risk. So choose a path. It doesn't matter if it feels... I'm sorry, let me get my words. Or let me get words from this wordy deck. Oh. I wanted to pull this out the other way, so I'm going to leave it upright. Treason was understood. Treason was understood. What that means is people know exactly why you walked away, even if they didn't understand it for a year. And walking away can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be quitting a job, it can be ending a relationship. But since this feels work-related, it's either like you walked away from the situation emotionally, physically, or mentally. Does that make sense? And the things that you did in response to the way that this King of Wands in reverse was acting was understood. Like, people kind of finally got their heads together in your situation and just went, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. Because this person hurt someone you are very close to and that you love, is what I heard at the same time. One more word card. It says, I know all you nosy little shits have been wondering what I've been up to. So since you've walked off, people have been both understanding why you did, but also wondering what you're up to now because of what happened. And you're just kind of like, I'm not telling. You're not allowed to know. So I think people have been trying to force entry into your life and your consciousness and into your situation, and you've just been blocking it left and right. You haven't been happy about it, and it hasn't been that romantic for you to do so. but you're at least like not feeling breadcrumbed anymore by a situation that was like self-imploding without your help, but you just kind of scooted it along. I mean, if something's gonna drive into the wall, might as well make it go faster, right? I don't know. That's accelerationism for you. Now this card is upright as well. The Nine of Wands has been restored. You've been through it, warrior. You've been through it. You've battled. You've fought. You've got blood all over your face, and it's whose blood? You know, it's been a lot. But you're okay. The blood's gone. You're you're bandaged up. You're manning your post. You're chilling. People are being very nosy, but they understand why you've done what you've done. It doesn't feel great, and your greatest risk is feeling disenchantment, feeling nihilistic. Try to just feel glad. Feel glad that it's over. I promise you it's over. It's over. It's over. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. We have the Three of Swords in reverse here twice. We have all these justice, judgment, like wheels in motion, and you are going to be fine. The Hierophant in reverse is not going to be fine. That's who needs to be worried about this next conjecture and junction. I heard at the same time. It's safe to move forward. It's safe to choose. You're not going to get hurt again. It is worth it. You're going to reach that Nine of Pentacles before you know it. I hope this makes sense. I feel like this is a good time to wrap it up. Know that there is some internalized judgment that came from this situation. You felt a little like you internalized some shame. So know that it's not yours. And that you kind of got to like let it seep out into the earth and like down a chain to the core of the earth so it can be transmuted through fire. There's a lot of fire transmuting going on in the astral today, I think. I also like, I've just noticed a lot of construction workers. I really feel like people are rebuilding. Rebuilding felt important to say, even though like it's not technically rebuilding around here, but that's the essence and the element that I'm feeling. Whether it's good or bad will be seen later. And this is a perfect time to stop. That's my cue to stop. So thank you for joining. I hope this helped. Have a good one. Peace. Bye-bye. Ta-ta.